The chair calls Karen Reed. Karen Reed. And Ms. Reed, as you've heard earlier, just tell us your name and who you represent and your position on the bill.
Yeah, hi, my name is Karen Reed. I represent myself, and I'm with the Texas Grandparents Association. I support this bill. It may not help me, which I hope it does, but I hope it'll help someone. I'd like to thank Chairman Dutton and the rest of the committee for allowing me to tell my story. First off, I'd like to say that there's no one here that wants to take away parental rights. We just want an impartial party, such as a judge, to hear both sides and decide what is best interest of the children, especially when we were allowed in their lives and then all of a sudden taken from them, and they have no explanation other than, oh, they don't love you, is oftentimes what they're told. They don't love you anymore. And you can imagine what that does to the heart of a child. A little over 4.5 years ago, my oldest daughter committed suicide. Her son, my grandson Jaden, had been living with my oldest brother and sister-in-law for about 2.5 years because of a previous suicide attempt. At the time, I was not in the position to take my grandson, or I would have. A few days before my daughter's suicide, my brother and sister-in-law filed for adoption of Jaden, my grandson. I always had access to my grandson through my daughter since the day he was born, and I was in the delivery room when he was born. I was the first one to see him. I was the first one to hold him. We always had a very close relationship. When my brother and sister-in-law had custody of Jaden, I acquired him on a regular basis. They gave me visitation. I got him whenever I wanted, pretty much, unless they were busy or out of town or something. During that time frame, they stopped allowing my daughter and her son to see her son, claiming it was in his best interest. So they have a record of doing this. About 3 or 4 months before my daughter's suicide, I began to notice that every time I asked to see my grandson, there was always some excuse, although I could still talk to him by phone. When I'd ask what was going on, there was never an explanation. Then the accusations from them started, and they were either false or petty reasons. I was distraught with the death of my daughter, and now I was being deprived access to my grandson. He's the only part of my daughter I have left. Things got heated on both sides, and my frustration grew. They accused me of saying that they were responsible for her death because the adoption papers were found next to her, which I never said, because the papers were not found next to her. They were still unopened in the mailbox. The last time I saw my grandson was 5 years ago at my mother's funeral, 5 months after my daughter passed away. Both my other 2 brothers and sister-in-laws have both told them that it's wrong, that what they're doing is wrong, and they need to let me see them. They all have grandchildren. I've apologized numerous times for arguments, even though they're the ones who started these problems. I've appealed to the fact that they're now grandparents and that this could someday happen to them. I text my brother a couple times a month asking to talk to my grandson with no response, which I don't expect one, but I'm trying. I was once told by my sister-in-law that I was not Jaden's grandparent because he had other grandparents, which included her parents, which are not related to him, my ex-husband and his wife who live out of state. I raised my daughter, and I'm the only one that can tell his mother, or tell Jaden what his mother was like as a baby, a young girl, and as his mother.
Ms. Reed, if I'm just going to kind of push you to the end, because we still have lots of people, so if you just kind of get to the point of the end of your remarks. Okay,
so alienation is both child and elder abuse, and it needs to be stopped now, because children should not be used as pawns to hurt someone. I can only speak for myself, but this, along with my daughter's death, has caused me severe depression, and others have expressed that they've been depressed due to separation from their grandchildren also. This isn't good for anyone, especially the child. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does anyone have any questions, members? Ms. Reed, thank you for your testimony today.